Hey, how's it going? My name is Mike, and yes, you probably clicked on this video because you're interested in roasting your own coffee, and that's awesome. I agree, you should do it. But one of the coolest ways you can do it is by getting a popcorn popper, like this one right here. And I'm gonna talk about the settings and what I do in my process, and just real quick how I go through all of that and what I think about while I'm doing it. And I'm going to run through that in about a couple minutes. This is gonna be a short video, super informative, about as informative as I can get it. All right, let's get to it. So you've got some green coffee like this right here, and you want to roast at home. There's a lot of different roasters you can get, but those roasters are going to cost a lot. This is probably the cheapest version of a roaster that you could possibly get from what I've noticed, unless you do something at home like use a pan, which that's fine too. But this is a stainless steel stovetop roaster, and if you have watched my channel for any amount of time, you notice that I've used this before, and it's on a propane burner. So this thing is 8,000 BTUs, and I will use a propane tank like this. And that one's refillable, but you don't have to use refillable. And it will take about maybe somewhere between 6.5 to 9 minutes, even 13 minutes to roast your own coffee on something like this. I can do up to a pound at a time. I can do actually 18. So let's make this right. So let's say this right. So I can use green coffee at 18.72 ounces. So that means that I'm about almost 3 ounces over what a full pound would be. So I can put 18.72 ounces in here, and roughly in about 9 minutes, I'll end up with about 16 ounces of coffee roasted out of this. So that means you can do about a pound of coffee in here. Okay, that's what you'll get out of it. All right, and my settings are I go full, like I just set it at full. I'll light it like this. Boom, it'll light. I'll keep it there for the whole time until I get to first crack with this lid closed to keep that going. But before you even start, you need to make sure that you charge this. So have the burner going for about a good 3 to 4 minutes, and you can use a thermometer like I have here, something like this right here, and you can read the temperature, right? So it's 72 degrees on this table right here. So you can read the internal temperature of this, while you open the flap here. It's probably gonna be somewhat messy, but you open the flap and you can get the internal temperature reading in there. And you'll, as soon as you see it at about 400 to 450 degrees, you wanna put the beans in there and just start turning this. And that's what's cool about this. You can just simply turn this right here, and you'll get this. It'll stir those around really well. I don't know if you can see that in there, but yeah, that's got to be cleaned. But I'll get that cleaned the next time before I start roasting again. Yes, so you just go ahead and keep turning that. Keep turning it. Sometimes the beans will want to get stuck underneath. Just kind of jostle the handle a little bit, and you'll be able to get the bean loose, whatever's stuck under there. And keep doing that until you hear first crack. You'll hear a definite crack. You hear that first crack, I recommend keeping it there just for a little bit longer, keeping it at full flame with an 8,000 BTU. Remember, 8,000 BTU. If it's higher than that, you might need to adjust it. Maybe go 3/4 flame or something like that. So not all of these are going to be exact. I don't even think all of them will be the same exactly. Some of them will probably, even like if you buy a new one like this one, it's probably still not going to be the same as far as how much propane it's going to be putting in or giving you. So you might want to think about that too. So it'll be trial and error for you as well, but this will be a good base for you. This video will. All right, so as soon as you hear first crack, you're gonna wanna keep it there for a little bit and let the crack kind of roll, let it go a little bit longer, and then open this flap, okay? Open the flap, let some of the steam out, the smoke out, or whatever, and just let it cool down. Let the temperature taper off. Go ahead and close it. So keep that open for like, I don't know, maybe about 30 seconds, something like that. and then turn this flame down to about halfway, maybe a little bit more, and let it go, and keep checking it. You know, this is when you can open the flap. Keep checking the flap, looking at a light. I'll turn this to point it at that light right there, and you'll be able to tell where the roast is a little bit by sight, just a little, but you need to go by smell, by sound. If all the beans have basically cracked, you don't want it to get into second crack unless you want a really dark roast. And there's no problem. If you want to take this off just after first crack, you can do that if you want a really light roast. If you want to let it sit for a little bit longer, just after you let the heat taper off, then you can pull it just after that and you'll have somewhat of a fairly light roast. And if you want to keep it on just for a little bit longer than that, 15 seconds or so, you're going to have a medium-ish. And then you keep it on longer than that. So when you're getting to about the 8 minutes and 45-second mark, then it's going to be more of a medium, like definite medium, okay? 9 minutes to, it's gonna be medium dark, 9.5, 9 minutes, 15 seconds, 9.5 minutes, you're gonna start going into, the second crack territory. And it's gonna be somewhat of a dark roast. I would consider that somewhat of a dark roast. But that's fine if you want that. That's totally fine. It just depends on the bean, right? So make sure that the bean that you're buying is going to be something that is made, or not really made, it's recommended, like from sweetmarias.com. If you go to sweetmarias.com, they'll tell you on their bag if it's made for espresso. And I'll show you what I'm talking about right here. So this is one of my favorites right here, the Guatemala San Diego Buena Vista Bourbon. And this does say good for espresso. Hopefully you can see that. Good for espresso. If it says that, then you're good to go. It doesn't have to say that, but I think it's better if it does, because they have tried all the beans. They're pretty accurate. I've tried a lot of different ones, and everyone that I've got from them that they recommend is good for espresso has been really good for espresso. The one that wasn't good for espresso, it wasn't marked as that, it wasn't as good. It was the Kona coffee from Hawaii, and it wasn't as good as an espresso. I probably could have done a better job roasting it, but nonetheless, the one last thing I want to show you right here is this. This is why it's hard to go by look. So these are two different beans right here, okay? So one is wet processed, one is dry processed. So the wet processed is the one that has the bean that has the white in the middle, and the dry process is the one that doesn't. Very interesting, right? And the dry process looks a little bit lighter, and the wet process looks darker. So those are actually the same amount of roast. They just look different. So that's very interesting. And that's why it's hard to go by sight, because you really can't see on the outside what's really going on internally. You can only go by heat and by time if you have roasted this before. So that's why it's good to just do a little bit of trial and error. And I have messed up on some, and I have made some really good ones. It's hard to be consistent in the beginning, but you will get the hang of it, and consistency can come from these. I hope this helps somebody. My name is Mike. I'm on day 16 of my 30-day journey of making a video every single day for 30 days straight. Hopefully this helps somebody, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Subscribe for more.